Hey guys, welcome back. This is the final installment of Neil Gaiman's Fortunately the Milk. I am so sorry it has taken me so long to get this recorded. As you probably already know, the library has reopened and we have launched our summer reading program. So check out the website for all of our stuff that we have going on, and I hopefully will see you at the library. All right, so where we had last left our intrepid father on his quest to get milk for his children's breakfast, it looked like he was finally home, and his adventures were over. He and Professor Stig were back at the intersection of Marshall Road and Fletcher Lane. Do you think this is the end of the adventure? I don't think so. Let's read it. "Would you like to press the button?" said Professor Stig. I pressed the red button. There was an ear-popping noise and a flickering of ears, and I was floating in the balloon basket above the intersection of Marshall Road and Fletcher Lane. I could see our house from above. I could see the bicycles in the back garden. I could see the rabbit hutch. "We're here," I said, and I patted Professor Stagg on the back ridge plates. "It was nice having a traveling companion." "Ah!" said the professor, because there was a familiar sort of thrum, thrum, thrum noise. What's that? Who made that noise? Or what made that noise? Do you remember from the very beginning of the book? And before I had a chance to press the red button, we were all deposited, balloon and all, on the enormous metal deck of a flying saucer, with a number of very grumpy-looking green globby people staring at us with too many eyes. They did not look pleased. "Aha!" said several green globby people at the same time. "You thought you had escaped us, and you were wrong. Now you must send the planet over to us so we can remodel it. We will take out all the trees for a start and put in plastic flamingos." "Why?" "We like plastic flamingos. We think they are the highest and finest art the Earth has achieved, and they are tidier than trees." "Cleaner than trees?" And they have a point. "Also, we are going to replace the clouds with scented candles." "We like scented candles too," explained a huge green globby person who looked like he was mostly made of snot. "We also like decorative plates," said another. "We will put up a decorative plate where the moon is now. A really big decorative plate showing the landmarks of the world. And we will then replace all of the landmarks of the world with decorative plates of the landmarks of the world. So the Eiffel Tower will be replaced by a large plate with a picture of the Eiffel Tower." Do you like that idea? "And Australia will be replaced by a really seriously big plate with Australia on it. We will also replace all of your mountains with throw cushions," said the smallest, globbiest of all, with triumph in its glutinous voice. "We have learned a lot from our previous meeting," said some of the globs that were sticking to the wall. "If you look over there, you will see that the door to the space-time continuum you used to escape through last time is now securely locked." It was definitely locked. It had a huge padlock on it and a sign saying, "Keep out," on it in unfriendly red letters. There were also chains around it and a tape that said, "Do not cross," and a handwritten notice that said, "For your convenience, please use another door." Escape was impossible.
Also, we have depowered your time machine.
I looked at the professor. His armored back flaps were drooping, and his tail was, well, not actually between his legs because stegosauruses aren't made that way, but if they were, it would have been.
We have been tracking your movements through space and time,
said a large, globby alien in the front console of the screen.
Now, see what happens when I press this? Grundledorfer,
said a particularly drippy alien. It was half sticking to the wall next to a large, black, shiny button. It's called a button, I said.
Nonsense! We have named it after our brood aunt, Nessie Grundledorfer,
said the globby aliens. The particularly drippy alien pressed the black button on the metal wall with something that might have been a finger and might just have been a long strand of snot. Gross. There was a crackle and a fizz. Standing around us in attitudes of anger and irritation were several pirates. Some of the people from the jungle, a very unhappy-looking volcano god, a large bowl full of piranhas, and some vampires. Oh my goodness! Oh no, what are they gonna do? They do not look happy. I'm not sure I understand what the piranhas are doing, said my sister. They were from a narrow escape earlier that I forgot to tell you about, said our father. Fortunately, the milk floated in at a crucial moment, and it all ended for the best. I thought it might, I said. There's the piranhas. Uh-oh, I said. Prepare to be keyholed, you scurvy dogs, shouted the pirate. Let us now sacrifice them both to Great Splod, shouted the men from the jungle. They stole my eye twice, rumbled mighty Splod. We want those villains and varmints violently bound up, proclaimed a tall lady vampire with long fingernails. The piranhas said nothing, but they thrashed around in their bowl ominously. Doomed, moaned Professor Steg. We cannot escape. They have frozen us in time and depowered the time machine. Even my mighty time machine can do no more than open a small window through space and time, smaller than either of us could get through. But can you do it, I asked? Open a little window in time to our last location? Of course, but what good would it do? Quickly, I said, do it. Professor Steg pushed the button on the box with the tip of his nose. There was a zoom and a and a window opened in space and time, large enough for me to get an arm through. I reached in. I'll explain later, I said, fate of the world at stake. I grabbed the milk from me 15 minutes earlier through the tiny space-time portal.
You must like milk a lot, said the globby aliens, but that craving for lactic liquids will not make us take pity on you or let you go and spare your badly designed planet.
It should, I said. What am I holding in my left hand?
The milk, they said.
And what am I holding in my right hand? They paused. One alien, so green and small and so globby and crusted that he might have been an enormous snot bubble blown by an elephant with a terrible head cold, said,
the same milk from 15 minutes earlier.
That's not good. Exactly, I said. Now, think about this one very carefully. What would happen if I touched these two things together? The globby aliens went a very pale green. The pirates, the men from the jungle, the piranhas looked at them, puzzled, seeking some sort of explanation, as did the vampires. If two things that are the same Sorry, that was Splod. If two things that are the same thing touch, proclaimed the volcano god, then the whole universe shall end. Thus saith the great and unutterable Splod. How does a volcano know so much about transtemporal metal science? Asked one of the pale green aliens. Sorry, that was the wrong voice. Being a geological formation gives you a lot of time to think, said Splod. Also, I subscribe to a number of learned journals. I coughed in what I hoped was an ominous sort of way. Well, I asked.
What he said, admitted the green globby aliens. The bit about the universe ending.
So, I told them, unless you wish to spend the rest of your lives in a universe that no longer exists, you had better return things to the way they were and then go away. The aliens looked at each other. They grinned at each other. One of them pressed the Grundledorfer. The vampires, pirates, piranhas, volcano god, and the worshippers of the volcano god were gone.
What if,
Suggested one of the green globby aliens hopefully.
we only redecorated the southern hemisphere?
Not a chance, I said. Now release us or the milk touches itself. Then go away and leave this planet forever. The aliens looked at me, and then they looked at each other, and then they sighed with a noise like 100 elephantine snot balloons. Ew. All deflating at once.
Right,
they said. And it was at that moment that a voice louder than anything I have ever heard, and I had heard a volcano erupt at very close range, said, "Galactic police, do not move." Galactic police, wow. My hand shook, but the milk did not touch the milk, and the universe did not end. There were red and blue flashing lights, and then, stepping off of their space bikes, were about half a dozen uniformed dinosaurs holding unmistakably large and extremely serious weapons. They pointed their weapons at the green globby aliens. "You are charged with breaking into people's planets and redecorating them," said a noble and imposing-looking Tyrannosaurus Rex. "And then with running away and doing it again somewhere else, over and over, you have committed crimes against the inhabitants of 18 planets and crimes against good taste." There are the dinosaur police.
What we did on Radio 4 was art,
argued a globby alien. Art. There are people on Rigel floor, said an Ankylosaurus, who have to look up every night at a moon with 3 huge plaster ducks flying across it. Something very long with a head on the end of it came over to us. It was attached to a very large body on the other side of the room. "Who are you?" It asked Professor Stagg, "and why is your gorilla holding a transtemporally located milk container?" "I am not a gorilla," I said. "I am a human father." The human is holding the milk in order to make these evil redecorating snot bubbles go away and stop menacing this planet and us, said Professor Stagg. The Diplodocus in the police cap opened its mouth and did not say anything. There's the Diplodocus in the police cap. The Tyrannosaurus, who had handcuffed all of the green globby people together with something that looked a lot more like pink string in a can than it looked like handcuffs, which was a good thing because they probably didn't have hands and they definitely didn't have wrists, stared at us, his eyes open wide. "Great day in the morning," he exclaimed. "A biped, a stegosaurus, a floating ball person carrier." He stopped as if unable to go on. A pterodon flapped over us and then landed at Professor Stagg's feet. I looked up at him and said hesitantly, It looked up at him and said hesitantly, could you be the inventor of Professor Stagg's floating ball person carrier?" the inventor of Professor Steg's pointy zooming into outer space machine, and of Professor Steg's really good moves around in time machine? Would you be the author of My Travels into the Extremely Far Future and What I Found There? Professor Steg, wisest of all dinosaur kind. Madam, is it truly you? It is, said the professor. Madam, I thought, embarrassed. And this is my assistant. The pterodon extended a wingtip for me to shake, and without thinking, I moved the second milk from my right hand to my left, where the first milk was. Everybody gasped. Unfortunately, the milk had been in my right hand, which was the same milk that was already in my left hand, and the same milk for 15 minutes ago touched each other. I held my breath. There was a fizzing noise and a mewling, as if 100 kittens were being agitated in an enormous basket. Professor Steg closed her eyes. I can't look, she said. Three purple dwarves with flower pots on their heads appeared from nowhere and began to do a little dance. Did the universe end? Said the Tyrannosaurus, with his eyes tightly scrunched closed. Look, I said. We all watched the dwarves dance. They weren't human and they weren't dinosaurs. They had purple skin and flower pots on their heads that had lots of flowers growing out of them. They did a complicated sort of dance with lots of leg kicking and shouts of oi and ole and per tongue. And then, as strangely as they had come, they vanished. Ah, said Professor Steg, there was always a possibility that might happen. And fortunately, the universe has not ended. She pressed the button again with her tail. A small hole in space and time opened up. I was standing on the other side with a baffled expression on my face. Catch! I shouted, and I threw the milk through the hole. As the portal closed, I saw me catch the milk using my stomach. The green globby aliens, having been rounded up and taken away, and all of the space dinosaurs gathered round. I can't believe it, said the Diplodocus. Professor Steg, it's like in the comics. The dinosaur who taught us that in the far future, small mammals will eat their breakfast cereal with milk on it. Inventor of the button. She's here in front of us with her gorilla. Not a gorilla, but a human father, said Professor Steg, and all of the other dinosaurs gasped and said things like, how wise she is, and what a brain, and how can you tell the difference between that creature and the gorilla? Is it the shoes? Professor Steg said, this human father has been my companion on this strange journey into the future. Now, before I take my leave of him and come with you, oh space dinosaurs, we should sing him one of the greatest old dinosaur songs. They sang me a song in 6-part harmony called How Do You Feel This Morning When You Know What You Did Last Night? Then they sang a song called Don't Go Down to the Tar Pits, Dear, Because I'm Getting Stuck on You. The Space Police dinosaurs sang me a song about being space police and saving people all over the universe and driving very fast space bikes. And then they all sang a lovely song called I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Hard, Hairy, Wet, White Crunchers. Remember what those are? Coconuts. Which was an ancient dinosaur song that had apparently been written by Professor Steg's Aunt Button. There is nothing in the whole of creation as beautiful as dinosaurs singing in harmony. Now, said Professor Steg, I shall go off in my floaty ball person carrier with my newfound dinosaur space police friends, and I shall explore the universe, and I shall return to my own time and write a book about it. You actually did write several books, said the Diplodocus. Professor Steg's Guide to Everything in the Whole of the Future was my favorite. It was very inspirational. I said goodbye to all of the dinosaurs. I thanked Professor Steg for saving my life. Not at all, she said. We are both fortunate that you had the milk with you. It is not every container of milk that saves the world, after all. That was me that saved the world, I said, not the milk. The space dinosaurs all had their picture taken holding up the milk and smiling at the camera. What are you going to do with the milk, they asked me. Are you going to put it in a museum? No, I am not, I told them. I am going to give it to my children for their breakfast cereal. And possibly I will pour some in my tea. Professor Stagg nipped back up the rope ladder and climbed into the gondola of her balloon. The last I saw of her, of any of them. The whole inside of the saucer was fading into the light so bright that I had to close my eyes and look away. And then I was standing at the back door of our house, none the worse for wear. Fortunately, the dinosaurs had given me back the milk after they had their photos taken with it. See the dinosaurs? Pictures with the milk. So I came in, and here I am. That was what my dad said. I looked at my sister, and my sister looked at me. Then we both looked around the kitchen, at the calendar on the wall with the hot air balloons on it, at my dinosaur models and my sister's ponies, at my sister's vampire books, at the picture of the volcano I had painted when I was little last year, and which is still up on the wall by the fridge. We looked at those things, and we looked at my dad. You know, we don't believe any of this, said my sister. We don't, I told him, not any of it, especially how you saved the world from being remodeled, or the pirates. Not any of it, I said. My father shrugged. Suit yourselves, he said, but it was all true, and I can prove it. How? Yes, how? Asked my little sister. Well, said my father, putting it down on the kitchen table. Here's the milk. Does that prove that the whole story is true? Because he has the milk with him? And he went back to reading his paper. What's that? Can you see it on the bottom of the milk bottle? Why, I think it's a doubloon from the pirates. So it all really happened? Wow. Did you like that adventure? I hope that you and your family enjoyed this book, and I hope that you can come and see us at the library really soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.